Everyone is buzzing about this year's Jags draft picks. Last night, they drafted Cam Jordan and Dwayne Smoot in the second and third rounds. This is on top of choosing Leonard Fournette in the first round Thursday night. Joining me now to discuss the draft so far and look ahead of the team's remaining picks, Cole Pepper. Cole, thank you for joining us. I want to start with first round. They went with the big name. They went with a star.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette, and that's a big win. It's one of the four players the Jaguars thought they would have a chance to get. Obviously, picking a number 4, that's a big part of it. You know, hey, I can get this guy. They did, and I think he sends a message. He's the kind of physical running back that's going to let everybody know with the Jaguars and around the league that the Jaguars are going to be a more physical team and a tougher team going forward. Tom Coughlin loves to bring tough, physical players to town, and he certainly did that with the first pick.
Running back, we haven't seen a lot of those in Jaguars history in the first round.
Yeah, the other guy by the name of Fred Taylor did okay for himself, that's been pretty good. And I think that's one of the areas where, you know, when you start talking about what the Jaguars have done, running back is not necessarily a position that you would make a high pick on, but he helps.
Second and third round, lesser-known guys. The average person's not going to know these guys. What can we take away from them?
Well, I think a lot of football fans will recognize Cam Robinson, the second-round pick. He played at Alabama. He was a star at Alabama. Big, strong left tackle. Whether he becomes a left tackle in the NFL or plays right tackle still depends on sort of how he develops. At one point in the draft process, he was being talked about as being a mid-first-round pick. Jaguars got him in the second round.
Moving on to today and throughout the weekend, where are we looking at? Where do you think the Jaguars might go?
Well, after they drafted Dwayne Smoot, a defensive end yesterday, I don't think they'll necessarily look for another pass rusher. They could potentially, but there are some positions that no doubt the Jaguars will be looking to try to fill here the rest of the way. Offensive line is still an issue. I mean, I think they need center, guard are definitely some areas they want to look at. I think quarterback is an area they could go after. Here's a guy right at the top of this list, Nathan Peterman from Bartram Trail, a guy who started his career at Tennessee, finished at Pittsburgh. They could look at him. Brad Kaya down the road at Miami. Not necessarily as somebody who would push Blake Bortles, but somebody who could be an insurance policy, a young quarterback to develop and see what happens.
So if they go with a guy from Miami, that's not a knock on Bortles at this point.
Well, I mean, listen, I think if you don't have your quarterback, if you don't know who your quarterback is, draft a quarterback every year. You never know who you might find in the 5th or 6th round. Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick.
Sure,
right?
We remember from Michigan.
Right,
yeah.
So find that guy. So I think those are the positions you'll see them go after. Tight end potentially as well. And then guys who can help you on special teams right away. If you get somebody in the 5th, 6th, 7th round who can help as a return man or a coverage guy on the 3rd day of the draft, that's a win.
Real quickly, last thought. Are you seeing Tom Coughlin's hand in this?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Tom Coughlin's fingerprints are all over this. As a matter of fact, in his book, Tom Coughlin said what he wanted to do is bring in quarterback, left tackle, right tackle, pass rusher. So far, in the first 3 picks, he's picked 2 of those, left tackle or right tackle, depending on where Cam Robinson winds up, and then also bringing in the pass rusher, Smoot. So this is a Tom Coughlin draft from top to bottom.
Well, he's had success, so let's hope it brings some success on the field. Thank you, Cole, very much.